Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Beyond the Label podcast. For those of you watching this video, we are in the beautiful home of Aish. So she is a Hong Kong-based artist and she created all of these herself. And if you're interested to know more, she'll tell us more a bit later. So Aish, thank you so much for being here with me. Do you want to start by introducing yourself a little bit?
Hi everyone, I am Aish. My name is Iswarya Venkat, but it's not the most easiest name to pronounce for everybody, but I'm okay with Aish. So I'm originally from South India, and I moved to Hong Kong around more than 6 years ago for work. So I am a full-time experienced designer at a consultancy, but I do a lot of creative work because I've always been creative. So I do a lot of creative work after, like when I just want to switch off from my long day, or just want to take a break from everything that's happening in the world. I just like to do something more creative, and that's how I started my work on Instagram, just doing all my cute little crafts that I do with paper and stuff, and that led to where I am right now, and I'm still growing. So I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'm just enjoying my creative part so far. Yeah.
Well, that sounds amazing. And I don't know anything about being like a UX designer, but that sounds so intense.
Yes, it is intense depending on what I'm working on right now, but it is very creative. So it's not something that I don't like. I love my job because it is still creative. I get to use a different side of creativity. They're more logical side of my brain, but at the same time get to be a little bit more creative with it. But yeah, this is something much more different because this is much more freeing. I'm not working for anybody. It's just my own time, my own work, and yeah, what I'm feeling, I just get to create that. So it's a bit different, but I like doing both. Yeah.
How do you first come across like creating art? Like, what is your medium? And because as all of you can see, her colors are just so amazing. Like the color blocking, I would never, even if I want to dress this way, I don't know what colors to put together. So is there like a time where you felt like, oh, like I'm really good at this, and I should start doing this?
Um, I don't know if there is a specific time, because growing up in South India, I was surrounded by colors. My mom used to wear the most beautiful saris, like all color blocked, obviously, because all our saris and the salwars that we wear are just a burst of colors all the time, and naturally just registers with me the color combinations that we used to, like, every time we go shopping, it's always like you see the color combinations, and I think it naturally registered with me. So because I didn't study color theory or anything, but I don't really stick to a color theory because I like to just randomly put together things, even though it might not really be a part of the color theory. I think if I like it, I would just wear it. I don't really care about whether it fits to the norm or fits to what exactly you're supposed to pair. So I just naturally just wear it. So I don't really. But after moving to Hong Kong, to be honest, I started wearing more and more color because I wanted to just a bit like feel myself again, like, because when I first moved to Hong Kong, I used to wear a lot of black, a lot of grays, because that's what was available for me to purchase here. So it took some time for me to find how I can buy colorful clothes the way that I like, and so it's been a long journey, but now I just love my colorful wardrobe because I can mix and match different things, but it takes a long time to build. So just randomly put things together. And I think I always tell everybody, like, if I think it doesn't matter whether it goes or not. I think if you are confident in wearing it, I think you'll automatically make it look good. So I just go with that principle. So I don't care if I like it, I would just wear it. So that's just been my way of working with color so far. Yeah.
First of all, that sounds amazing. Because when I first met Ish, I was stumbling upon this like shop, and then there was the gallery inside, and I just saw her beautiful, beautiful artwork with like shocking pink colors that is so rare to see in Hong Kong. And I know that when we first met, you mentioned that you want to give Hong Kong more colors, which I just love that sentence instantly because in Hong Kong, and I'm sure everyone who lives in big cities, it's always just like monotone colors. And when you see the buildings or when you go on the subway, it's always so dull. So I just love your splash of color into the city. And can you tell us a little bit about what inspired your artwork? And a lot of your art have titles like self-care, self-love messages. Can you tell us a little bit about that too?
Sure. I think Hong Kong in general. So I love Hong Kong. It's in general, it's a very colorful city, to be honest. Like if you go, all the facades of the different buildings, the subways are extremely colorful. So that already, I really liked that. But I would always ask some of my colleagues and friends, oh, would you guys wear more color and stuff like that? So I just like to bring that even though I might be like a clown walking in the middle of the road where everybody's just monotone, I think it just makes me happy. So I think Hong Kong has the color already. Sometimes it inspires me to put together, because when I go to some place, some districts in Hong Kong, I would see, okay, what color is the metro? What color are the buildings there? It gives me ideas to pair my own clothes as well. So it's very interesting in a way how I take from Hong Kong the inspiration of colors too, because it's extremely colorful most of the time. So that's amazing. But I like to see amidst all these skyscrapers, if there is like a beautiful colorful sculpture, I feel like that contrast would be amazing as well. So that's why I like to, my imagination right now, my ideas are now building some more colorful structures into Hong Kong, which already there are so many amazing artists doing that, but it'd be nice to have more where people can just experience color amidst, like, because it is a busy life here. So as you're going by work and you pass something more colorful, I just want people to be happy. So that's something that I try to include in my work as well, because I create work based on how I feel most of the time. But at the same time, if I'm feeling even depressed or maybe just not so great, because it's okay, and if I don't feel very great at times, I still want to create something, but out of what I'm feeling. But I just want to normalize that it's okay to feel that way most of the time. So that's why I like to put a little bit of a quirky twist in terms of how I'm feeling. If I'm not feeling okay, I would just maybe create something like a TV mask that doesn't work and then put on my face and say it's okay. You're feeling that way, and that's completely valid too. But I just like to have a little bit of playfulness even with how I'm feeling. So that's how I create my art. It never really started that way, but I started playing with different paper mediums. Paper is what I use most, like you could see. But yeah, so I started with paper, but then I slowly started using that as a means of self-expression. That's how I got there. But I just want to create something, even if it is sad or gloomy, I just want to use colors to bring the happiness out of that image.
That's beautiful. I mean, I love how you use color to express yourself, and I personally do feel like the city needs a lot of that energy. So, how do you how's it going, for you as an artist in Hong Kong? Because I feel like people are definitely more open-minded now, especially with a lot of new up-and-coming artists and taking inspirations from all over the world. But for you personally, can you share a little bit about your journey as an artist in Hong Kong?
So as an artist in Hong Kong, I wouldn't even say that I'm like an artist in Hong Kong yet, because I'm just trying, because I only used Instagram as a medium to talk to people. But most of who I connect with in Instagram are people maybe not even in India or not in Hong Kong, but somewhere else from different parts of the world. So that's how I get inspired from and connect with people and try to see what they create and how I can bring that to my work. But that was when I first met you, was the first time I had done like an exhibition of my work. That was my first experience, but I was extremely nervous because I didn't know, because my art is a little bit quirky and too colorful sometimes for everybody's house, because I always imagine, oh, if I have my art in my house in one wall, I think it should be like a powerful statement. So that's how I create that way, but it might not be everybody's cup of tea. But I liked the fact that I tried to just go and put my work out there. And it was quite interesting to see how people really like colors. Even though they say that, oh, maybe it's not in my house, it's nothing, but everybody overwhelmingly said that it just made them like immediately happy. That's exactly what I want to do. So it was quite nice to just put my work out there, but that was my first time. So hoping that I get more chances, and I'm trying to do more to see what are the different ways I can get my work out there, because it definitely doesn't have to be just like a gallery work. That was my first time trying, but I want to create experiences where you can go in, and then maybe a playground, or maybe just something more colorful, like in the middle of all the skyscrapers, where you can just go in and experience and take a moment to just like absorb colors. I feel like colors just brings happiness immediately to everybody. So whether you like it or not, I think it has that effect. So that's why I want to go in that direction. But I hope I would be able to share more in few years. But so far, it's been really great to see how people liked my work, or they perceive my work, or how it makes them feel. It's been quite overwhelming during that 1 month of me exhibiting my work.
I mean, for once, I'm one of the people who are very like beyond impressed. Just like so, like I felt something. You know what I mean? When I look at your work, it's just like happiness, joy, and
That means a lot. No, thank you.
yeah, no, for sure. Because that day when I looked at your exhibition, I think I was just like on my way to gym, you know, like going on my monotone routine. So that really sparked like colors and like happiness. Just like even for like a little moment, it's like, oh, this is so refreshing. Yes, refreshing is the word. Yeah.
Oh, that means a lot to me. So thank you so much. No, it was really nice to just stumble onto you that time, and you were all in blue, and I could see that you liked blue. So because I associate people with color, so I was like, okay, Alian, okay, maybe she's the girl who likes blue and stuff like that. So it was nice to see how you felt as well. So thanks a lot. That means a lot what you said about my work. Yeah.
Well, I'm not in blue today because I know that I'll be coming into the space with like color, so I decided to wear a little bit of color.
You fit right in. You fit right in my.
I think so too. I think so too.
It's a lot of primary colors, so I think that's another thing that I really like, is that because my house is like it's not one color, it's a lot of color, and it's not for everybody. But when I come after work, so even my husband says after work, when you come home, it's kind of nice because it's just a joyful place. So that's how I want to feel. So even if you had worn a different color, I think you would have fit in, because it's just a lot of colors going on here. Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah. So apart from your artwork, I want to ask a little bit about you moving from India to Hong Kong. I've personally never been to India, but I can already just like from news, from movies, from like what everybody says, it feels like such a different place culturally, language, cuisine, like everything seems so different. So can you share a little bit about, your shift from India to here, and if there are any major challenges or any like major adventures that you want to share?
You should definitely visit India. I'm a bit embarrassed to say that I haven't fully traveled around India as much, because I grew in southernmost part of India. All my life I grew up there, I studied there. So this was my first time living outside India, was Hong Kong. So coming from India to Hong Kong was very exciting. I was very nervous because I came here alone and wasn't sure what to expect. I've always wanted to visit Hong Kong, but I wasn't sure what was in store for me. But this is where we started living together, and it immediately felt like home away from home for me as well. But I do miss a lot of things that I get back at home, especially food, my family. It's all there, but it's nice to have that a little bit of more independence for me. So for me, when I started, I felt that more empowering, that we had the independence to and freedom to carve out our own lives in a new different city. It's very exciting. It's very endearing and nervous at the same time, but it's been amazing so far, and I absolutely love living here. The only thing I really, really miss is good South Indian food all the time, because you get a lot of North Indian food in Hong Kong, but I miss South Indian food all the time. So I search for those little pockets of places where I could go get some dosa or idli or something that, reminds me of home, because I don't really enjoy cooking. So I have to depend on somebody else. So that's the only thing that I really miss. But with family as well, it's not too far away from home, so it's always easy to get back home. It's just 4 hours, so by flight, so it's always very nice. So I like that it's still close to home, it's not far away from home, but it's been really nice. But culturally, I think Hong Kong has been amazing in terms of how there's a really good mix of diverse people in Hong Kong. So it's been quite easy for me to I mean, I wouldn't say I still like fit in here, but it's been nice so far. It's been an interesting experience meeting people from all over the world, and also friends back from India are here as well. So it's quite nice mix of people that you get to go out with and celebrate different things at the same time. So I do enjoy that here.
I remember when last time we chatted, you mentioned that you were in South India and you studied there and you live a large part of your life there. And moving to Hong Kong was kind of like an unexpected move. And I guess maybe like you as a kid never really thought of like moving here to Hong Kong. Yeah.
It was never in the cards for me. I didn't really think where I was gonna live. I was just thinking that okay, I would just gonna be living in India, but my work brought me here, which was it was a happy accident. So the first, so it was so I got married to my husband, and he was working in Shenzhen. I had to move somewhere closer. So I was fortunate and lucky enough that my people from my work helped me with an internal transfer. So work brought me here basically. So it was never really something that I imagined. The only thing I always wanted to come here is for Disneyland, because I'm a very, very big Disney fan. So I was like, I knew Hong Kong has a Disneyland. It is not as far away as like the US. So maybe I should come to Hong Kong to visit Disneyland. So I remember the first week or after a few days of like getting like certain things sorted out, I think I went like immediately when I could like go out everywhere. Like Disneyland was the first weekend, first weekend trip that I took. It was I cried immediately after going to Disneyland. It felt like something that was behind my mind. It was in the cards, but I never really actively thought about having a life here. Yeah, which was a happy coincidence, and just lucky to be here and feeling really grateful that I could just have my own life and we could build our own life here. Yeah.
I want to get to know a little bit about like, what was going in your head when you had to make that move. Because I think a lot of like our audiences here, people who are just young and figuring out what to do in their next steps of life. And there can be so much that you can plan, but in reality, sometimes life just brings you to another place that you've never imagined. So, yeah, what was going on in your mind, and how did your family react when you told them you were moving to Hong Kong? And yeah, just like internally, how are you feeling?
My family was extremely supportive, and they've never like really said no to anything I wanted. So it's family wise, they were very happy that I get to live my own independent life, because they wanted me to have the education and qualities and values in life that I could take care of my own. Family wise, they've always been supportive, but for me, I was I was terrified. I was really terrified moving all alone to Hong Kong. Sorry, I'm just reminiscing as well because I didn't really know, but I was very excited too. I remember the first time I moved here, I was overwhelmed by like how well dressed everybody were. Like they were all like so prim and proper, and I was like feeling a little bit, oh, I don't know what to do. It's a lot. It took at least 2 to 3 years for me to figure out, okay, what would my life in Hong Kong be? because I didn't necessarily fit into a lot of different, groups that were there in the work or different things. I was very different from, in the way that I think as well. I think it was, then I had to figure out and sit and learn, okay, learn and unlearn a lot of things as well. Because before I moved to Hong Kong, we had it's a maturish and childish to say, but in my life, in my mind, I had already planned out my life. Okay, we're gonna get married, we have some kids soon, and then maybe buy your own house, live your life. Like, just, it was like a very typical what you would or what was happening in the society that I grew up in. It was very typical of, that's how everybody's life was. So Hong Kong actually opened my eyes to it, or I got to experience a lot more, because we got married when we were 26 years old. So it was already not too it was already a bit late in India, according to my parents. But yeah, if and after moving here, I had to take just a step back and see that there's so much more, because I met different people who have created their own paths in life. So it opened my eyes to what more I could do. So that's when I started, okay, maybe I don't necessarily have to stick to the norm of working 9 to 6 all the time, coming back and growing our, doing what we were supposed to do according to the society. So that was very exciting for me. Moving to Hong Kong really taught me that there's much more that I could do. So I'm very grateful for that realization as well. So now we're just living one day at a time, and then just figuring out what we want to do. And Hong Kong really opened up a lot of our ideologies. Like, it just broadened much more than what I used to know.
Wow, I mean, just listening to that story, I'm just having like so much feels inside right now.
No, yeah, it is crazy. That's what I would say. Like, if something, and I've learned to say yes to more opportunities after coming here, because it's exciting to not know where you're going. To each its own, right? Like, if what you want to do is different, then that's it. But for me, it's been quite exciting to just go with the flow. And learn more about myself than I thought before. Yeah.
I love what you said about like learning and unlearning, because I mean, every culture, every city have their own, I guess, way of life, and you just realize that there's so much more than what we're taught before. Like, even right now, like just traveling and going outside to like Europe, to the US to like meet new people. For me personally, it's just been so much unlearning to realize, oh my gosh, like you can actually live like this. Like, there are so many different ways that you can live your life. Yeah.
There is no right or wrong, right? If how you want to live your life, basically the way the life that I had planned when I was in college, that could have been a right choice for me as well. I don't know, but I just learned that there's more, and so I'm just figuring out what the right choice is. So for everybody, whatever their choice is, that is right for them, that's great. Yeah, so there's no right or wrong way about life, right? So that's what I really love about it. So I'm still figuring out what's right for me.
Yeah, and I think, because for me as well, I guess I don't dress, according to the gray, white, black color tones. I dress in a lot of like blue, as you all know, and a lot of colors too. So you sometimes like you just feel weird walking on the streets in Hong Kong, but if you dress like the same way and you're in like Tokyo, it's completely normal. Like, everyone dressed like that. Yeah. So I think it's just so great that we're talking about this, about, we can, it's just like we all have our own way of life, and we just need to realize that it's actually an option. Yeah, because I think the big thing that I didn't know when I was younger was that I didn't know it was an option. Yeah, like I just like looked at my parents, look at my cousins, and they're all going on to this like perfect life, like for them, but it may not be perfect for me.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely get what you mean. Like, it is definitely a lot of firsts for me and for my parents. So I'm like educating them as we are going along as well. So it's very different, but it's also because when they came over here to visit me as well, it was quite eye opening for them as well. So I like the fact that, and like you said, it's when you travel more, or when you go out more, or when you learn more from people who doesn't conform, or like who have different ideologies, you learn from them. It's really interesting to see. There's so many ways, there's so many different ways that you could do certain things, and it's nice to know the options out there, and then understand what's right for you, and then go with your gut on that. It might be wrong. You might not everything that I've done in my life has been right for me, but then yeah, just it's all part of life. I think it's just nice to learn what's right and what's wrong for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I personally don't really know like Indian culture, but I assume that it's somewhat similar to like Chinese culture, as in the way that, like people have a very like planned out life, that people like need to get an education, like need to go to university, need to get like jobs in those like certain fields. And I remember that you mentioned that when we tried, I don't know if you're comfortable to talk about this, but like there's usually like arranged marriages in India, and you and your husband are not like in the arranged marriage. Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit about that? I'm very interested to know more.
Sure. I think like my parents got arranged married. I think that was what my parents wanted for me as well. But I met my husband when we were studying in university, and we fell in love, and we wanted to get married. So it was a bit of a shock for my entire family that, oh, okay, so this is a different. We didn't make this arrangement for you. We didn't look for a person for you. So you found your own person. So what does that mean? So it was a lot of. I really should. It was a lot of talking. Like we needed to communicate a lot to figure out, okay, what does this mean? Because I was very firm, like, because I found the right person, I wanted to get married to that person. So my husband's family were much more open about it. They were, oh yeah, okay, that's great. And as long as, because family is still like in India also, the marriages is all about it is about the two people, but family also is very important, right? So we had to make sure that both our families are okay, and they are 100% happy for us. Obviously they were 100% happy that we found each other, but it did take a bit of a time to get there, because they had to understand, because I understand from their point of view, because from ever since like we were born, my parents would have been thinking, they would have been dreaming what they wanted to do for our wedding as well. So it was a bit of a shock for them. So I was the first to go in our family to go and tell them, oh, okay, so I found somebody. So it was extremely shocking. But finally, yeah, they were all happy, and like immediately once they. At the end of the day, my dad said this, which was very interesting. At the end of the day, as long as like everything that matters to them is just my happiness. So if that is so once they put that out there, I think they all just immediately, okay, there's no more discussion. She found the right person. We really like him, and we really love their family, and that's it. And then everything was like smooth after that. It was very nice, and it was yeah, it I'm happy that it ended in a way that we wanted it to end. Yeah, but it is uh still arranged marriages are still a thing. I can't speak for the whole of India. We are extremely diverse. There's a lot that I don't know about a lot of other states in India as well. So at least in the society that I grew up in, arranged marriages are still a thing. Even in my own family, a lot of my cousins have got married to the person that their parents have looked for them, and they are very happy as well. So it's about, yeah, it's just about what's in for you. Like it's too hard to say it. I don't want to get too philosophical, but yeah, it's just how it is. Like you find the right person, that's great. If not, they find you the person, and then you work out, and then you figure things out with them. So that's also great. So yeah.
Wow. First of all, I cannot imagine like arranged marriage situation, but I mean, I watched the Netflix show.
The Indian matchmaking
Yeah,
show? Yeah.
it's like that.
I think it's at least in my family it is not like that, like, but yeah, usually we do find somebody. It's always like a word of mouth. Okay,
Yeah.
we're looking for a partner for my daughter or son or
Yeah.
whatever it is, right? So they always, like, it's through word of mouth that they try to find people, and then they get to see if the horoscopes match, and then and then you get to talk and see if you like each other. At least in the circles that I know, it is not like forced on you, but yes, you get to talk to the person and see if it's something that you like in them, or you share same values, or that's you find a partner in them, and then it becomes a marriage. But Indian matchmaking show, this I wouldn't say it is not happening. I think I would assume it is still that way, but yeah, it is a fun show to watch. But yeah, there's still things like that. There are in matchmakers in India who would find specifically groom for you,
Yeah.
like giving different horoscopes and like CV
Like
or
the
whatever. Yeah,
profile.
the profile and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would mind.
Okay,
It's
that's
so hard to
interesting.
date in Hong Kong.
Okay.
So if someone like presents to me like a bunch of like CVs and profiles and just like, okay, like you can like choose and like go and like meet them like a job interview. I think I'll be okay with that. Yeah.
How much? So is arranged marriage a thing in Hong Kong at all?
Not that I know. So I think it's definitely a thing that parents want their kids to find someone having a similar background, similar education, but not to the point where they will find like a professional matchmaker
Okay.
to like find someone. But yeah, maybe like oh like some aunties, they're
They will set you up on some dates or stuff like that, like blind dates.
I haven't been on one yet, but I know my friends who've been on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's usually the other way around for us. So to so in matchmaking is still a thing, still very much a thing in in India. So but a lot more families are open to marrying the person that you love, and there's a lot more things that are happening in India, which is really great.
I think honestly, like all these just ties back to what we were saying earlier, like everyone having their own way of life and it's not applicable for everyone. And yeah, so I think we're almost down to the last section of our podcast. Before we go to the last question, is there anything additional that you would like to share to the audience first?
It's just being very open to things, open to things that come your way. That's been one of the biggest things that I have realized about myself, because I am an introvert. I'm still an introvert until I know a person, then I'm okay with it. So I think just being saying yes to more things actually has helped me pull me out of my own comfort zone. So I'm liking it, but so just say yes more to really great things that are coming your way. It might be great, it might not be, but I think the experience is all worth it.
I love that. Yeah, I believe there are no bad experiences. It's either like it pushes you towards like upwards. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Oh, and also wear more colors. I always tell this to everybody. Like, I think, no, because I do love, because there's so many people in Hong Kong who are dressed top to bottom in black but look absolutely stylish. I wish I could like pull that off, but I don't think it's in me. Like, I at least need a little bit of color or some pattern going on. But if somebody is still thinking about wearing colors, and I think you should, it doesn't matter if it goes with the color theory of what is out there in the society. I think you should just wear what makes your heart happy. Yeah, I think so.
I agree. Oh my gosh, I agree 100%. We're more colors and we're blue. So for the last question, I ask this to everyone, is that can you share one thing that you love about yourself?
I think one thing at this point I could say, one thing I really love, I even very coincidentally was talking about this yesterday. I love how I have become confident in how I look or how I am right now. That is something it took a long time for me to get there, because being it is also because how the society is, in terms of how inclusive the brands are. It's very difficult, um, because I'm not a typical size that usually can go to sometimes I go to a store and they would say, oh, we don't carry your size. It's a little bit disheartening, because, oh, sorry, it's a little bit disheartening, but yeah, but I learned a lot to this is what I meant by unlearning, because I had to unlearn a lot, that because for me, okay, looking a certain way or fitting into a certain size is what was perfect. That's what I was told. Or your skin, what color it should be, like you need to be more like, because there's so many things that in childhood, there's like different brightening creams, there's different things that in ads and different things that are coming your way, which what taught me is like, okay, that's how you're supposed to look, that's how you're supposed to, like, you see somebody in ads or in print ads or different things. But it took a long time for me to just be okay with, like, it could be a work in progress. Maybe you want to be that way, that's completely okay too, but for me it was not a healthy mindset for me. So I had to unlearn a lot. So I like that I'm confident in myself right now. Like, I'm getting there. It is still not 100%. Sometimes I don't feel 100% myself as well, but that's why I just go out with, like, even though I look like a clown in the middle of I would go out there and then wear whatever I want, because it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm not like offending anybody else. Like, it just makes me happy to do that. So I think that's what I really like about myself at this moment in time, that the confidence that I have right now. Yeah, it's still a process, but I like where I am at right now.
That's so amazing. So amazing. Yeah, because definitely, like, there are just so many ads out there and like marketing campaigns, just like promoting a certain type of beauty standards, that it's so easily to, just look at them and you feel like, oh, I don't look like that, so I don't feel as worthy. So it's just so important to develop that confidence, even just like step by step, like, like one day at a time. But it's just so empowering, for you to dress in the way that you love, and like even with your pink like eyeliner right now, like I love it. And last time you wore like a blue eyeliner. Love it, like 100%. I mean, I wish I could carry that, but I don't think I
I'm
can.
sure you can. I'm sure you can. I think it's just a mental block. You can. Anybody can pull off anything. I
If I
think
do,
that's
I'll send it to you.
Yes. Next time we meet, I think you should try it.
I'll show you guys too. Yeah, so that's absolutely amazing that you found that confidence and you're sharing it with our audience today. Yeah, so thank you so much for being here. And can you share your Instagram handles, or if you have any websites? I don't know if you have any, but yeah, like any way that the audiences can find you.
Sure. I think I kind of live in Instagram most of the time. Yeah, so my Instagram handle is Ishvi, Ishyvi. I think you can link
that
it
somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I share everything that I create, everything that I when wear. Yeah, that's where I share my colorful world to other people. Yeah.
So thank you so much for today. And if you guys have any more questions, please contact her on Instagram and leave in the comments below, and rate, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.